Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Ascendance Game Changers Summit. I'm Darren Milligan. I'm from Avery Dennison, and I'm happy to be here today and give you a little bit of a discussion, which is going to cover a couple of topics. One is how Avery Dennison is actually contributing to stakeholders and communities around us, as well as some personal reflections on my own journey over the 25 years with Avery Dennison. I've worked with Avery Dennison across Australia, Hong Kong, and the US, and now back to Australia. And I'm currently running our business in Southeast Asia after a role in their marketing head for Asia Pacific. So I've had many roles across many countries, and that experience, I think, is a lot to do with the company Avery Dennison and the opportunities they've created for us and for me. As I said, the topics I want to cover is two topics. One, what Avery Dennison as a company are doing to give back to our communities around the world. And, for me personally, this is in Southeast Asia. And as I said, some of the reflections I've had and some of the lessons that I would give to myself if I was starting again over the journey, and how I would do things differently based on the life experiences I've had. The Avery Dennison as a company, I'm not sure if you know who they are, but we're a global enterprise. We have over 36,000 employees across almost every country in the world. We've got global sales of 9 billion. And what we do is we're a material science company and digital identification solutions company. So if you think about the packaging, printed labels that you see on e-commerce deliveries, on shampoo bottles, on hair care products, under the bonnet of automobiles, we're making those materials and selling those to label printers who supply them into these different industries. And we also have a big business where we do a lot on digital identification, so RFID, hardware, software, solutions that go into the apparel, e-commerce, and food space, amongst many other things. So fairly diversified, and as I said, every country in the world we have a footprint on the ground. What I want to talk about today, as I said, is how we as a corporation are doing things to give back to our other communities that we are part of around the world. And probably the biggest change that you've seen in the last 5 years is the focus on sustainability, and in particular as a participant in the packaging community, it's very important that we lead the way with sustainable products. And we've focused on 3 things as part of that journey. And the first one that's really important is leading the industry with innovations that advance a circular economy. It's very important that actually we move away from practices like landfill and go to reusing packaging again and again in a circular way. And there's technologies and innovations that we've created towards doing that. And the thing that's been important for us is that we've actually invested ahead of the curve. So doing the right thing is leading the industry. Doing the right thing is actually spending money even when it's not immediately bringing us a bottom line return, because the right thing to do is actually to reduce the overall greenhouse gas and carbon footprint in the entire world, and packaging is a big part of that. So as an industry leader, we've been very aggressive in investing in developing products that actually make our industry and our planet more sustainable. That also extends to the way we operate internally. So as a manufacturing company, we look at the environmental impact we have on the planet, and everything in our supply chain, which includes scope 2, which is what we do, and scope 3, which is what our suppliers do. We're looking at how we improve that, and everything from solar panels to reduction in the amount of transport we use, the amount of packaging we use in-house, even the amount of packaging our employees use in-house, has been a holistic approach from us to make a positive impact to the world around sustainability. And that starts from the top to the bottom of our enterprise. The third thing we do is actually look to make a positive social impact by impacting the community of that surround us. And I'll talk about how we do that on the next slide. One of the big things that we're focused on is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And as it says at the bottom of the page there, that we really believe that diversity actually makes us a better business, because diverse ideas and diverse teams bring differences that create new innovation. So that's good for business. The other thing is we want to make an inclusive and equitable environment for people from all backgrounds. So when we think about that, some of the initiatives that we're driving just within our region is we're looking at the number of females we have in manager level and above. In some countries in particular, I'll give an example like India, the amount of female leadership we have is very low. So we're committed to getting that towards 50%, and we've made good progress there, as well as a focus on an inclusion index. And for us, one of the big things we look at is the employment engagement score. You know, an engaged workforce is actually going to be a better workforce, and engaged workforces feel like they're included. We also have some guardrails that we've created. You know, if people within our organization are being mistreated, we've created a values and ethics hotline. And that's created a place where people can call up and independently can actually have a complaint investigated, and that goes all the way to the board of directors. So very, very important escalation point for employees. And developing employee resource groups. We have several across this region. We have one for mental health called Team Resilience. So we're trying to create teams or groups within our organization around these areas to help each other and learn from each other. The last thing we do is we look to give back to communities. We have every enterprise that Avery Dennison has in each country always has a charter to do local, what we call corporate and social responsibility activities, giving back, whether it's planting trees or helping kids to read. We're doing a lot of those activities in small ways every day across the region, as well as in bigger ways. We have something called the Avery Dennison Foundation, and this foundation gives grants around the world. And in fact, Ascendance is one of those recipients of these grants. We've given for the second year now, I think, a sizable contribution to help Ascendance, which we believe is a fantastic and worthy enterprise, some money to actually go and do more things to help develop young entrepreneurs. And I'm very proud we're connected with that. And this is not just about, you know, doing the right thing is also good for business. And what you see now around the world is what they call ESG. ESG is something that on Wall Street and around the world in stock markets, publicly listed companies have to now give an ESG kind of update. And this is our balanced scorecard. And you can see the things that I would focus on in employee engagement and women managers women that are managers or above. You can see the charts there and the improvement we've made over the last several years. And you can also see that our our stock price and our returns to shareholders has also been going up. So all these things are actually good for the planet and good for business. Let me move to the other part that I wanted to cover today, which was just some personal lessons for me that's been learned over the journey. And as you are all young people starting your own careers and own journeys, I thought I'd just share with some of the things that for me have been important reflections. I think for one thing, I would say take risk and get out of your comfort zone. I mean, I personally benefited entirely from moving from Australia to Hong Kong, to Cleveland, Ohio, and taking different roles that were sometimes considered a risk, a personal risk, but the returns for me were significant. And you can see from that chart on the right that you really do go through both a learning and a growth journey from taking risk and actually trying new things. So, don't play safe, play to win would be one thing I would say. Another thing is you can only get somewhere by working with people. And probably the biggest learning I ever had was actually everyone you know, everyone in the room you're sitting in today is smart, okay? But the biggest barrier to people moving up the organization is how effective they are at working with and working through people. And that starts by having emotional intelligence and having the self-awareness to recognize the way you're acting, the way you're influencing people. And really, it's important that you stay authentic and don't try and be someone that you're not. These are really fundamental things for anyone who's aspiring to leadership roles. And it won't be the technical things that stop you being successful. It will really be this area here about emotional intelligence and being authentic. And then the last thing, and this is really for the culture in Asia, and in particular in Southeast Asia, is to be very respectful of your parents, your school teachers, of management. But one thing that leadership really wants to hear from is, we want to hear from employees. We want to hear your ideas, your insights, and different thinking. Okay, different thinking is great, and put your hand up and actually and bring your ideas to the table. But also listen. You know, make sure you're very curious and you try to understand, and don't come with prejudged ideas, because I've learned that every market and every situation can be different. And you should start by having a blank piece of paper and learning and trying to form your own view, rather than going in with something of a prejudged view. So take the time to be curious and understand, and have the courage to put your hand up and put your ideas forward. That's what's going to make you stand apart from the crowd. And that's what you're in. You're in a competition with other people in life and in business. And these are things that can really help you step ahead. And I would say that, you know, the fact that you're on this summit and you're participating with the Ascendance platform, you're already making progress. You're already putting yourself ahead of other people that are your same age group and peers to yourself. And for that, I really want to congratulate you and wish everyone a fantastic summit, and wish you fantastic success in your future careers. You are already on your way. So thank you.